And so we end this horrific parade into poor self-management and misunderstanding of self, and the land of paradox and creation with this pride. I had to have a little talk with myself. This coffee making, I was counseled before starting. This is a hard one. Pride is excessive belief in one's own abilities. Subtext, do not trust self. That interferes with the individual's recognition of the grace of God. It has been called the sin from which all others arise. Pride is also known as vanity. Yeah. So, we would like to bring your attention to some people who, when they pass, the whole world mourns. We are thinking of the Prince, of the David Bowie, of the who else tickles you and brings to you a profound communication of soul that says, you're not alone here. I can see with the same eyes, and yet I am able to express for you in all of my joy, my resolution of this, my understanding of it, the gifts that it provides, and the redemption I have found. And so if Prince had been in this mindset of I don't know, what do you call it, the belief that he's being sinful, wrong, bad, worthy of punishment and extinguishment for thinking well of himself, of recognizing his abilities, of maybe even not only exploring them but surpassing them. Well, we'd be out some artists, would we not? We'd be out some thinkers too. I'm thinking of Neil Bohr. I'm thinking of Mr. Einstein. So, pride, well, that's the message is that trust yourself too much and you get lost in the wilderness of madness and recrimination and alienation from God. Yeah. So, why? Well, this mechanism had to be put in first, right? It's the mother of all sin. It is the font from which flow many dictates of behavior in the physical with others, right? Yes, this will tell you how to go. Do not be prideful. Do not have pride in your works. Do not have pride in yourself. That is sinful. But have we not just talked about envy, jealousy, greed, and are these not manifestations of a belief in lack? And so pride, well, this speaks to being too full of oneself, does it not? Yes, it's a mind fuck, and not the nice kind, not the gentle, sweet, slow, foghead kind. No. No, it's being stretched over a bookcase and ravaged in a most profoundly uncomfortable way. Preferably no eye-to-eye contact. Thank you. I am here to tell you how it's going to be, and I'm going to use my body to express my will. See how much pride you feel now? Well, that would be zero. I'm very prideful at this moment, but somehow, curiously, I don't hate myself. Yeah, it's kind of like that. I think it's a very bad thing. And so from this will flow perhaps longer meditation on sin, forgiveness, validity, things like that. But he would stand on the back porch of the house known as Pride. You'll notice the windows, they have been painted shut a long time ago. They don't open. And on hot days, it gets kind of hot and stuffy. In cold days, somehow it's still cold in here. Just how it is in this house. And the doorbell doesn't work. It's hard to hear the knocks if someone comes. And no one enters this area, this backyard, this sanctuary. So we stroll and we sit on the little metal chairs, and we each enjoy an iced tea and look around the garden. The flowers are very beautiful here. It doesn't smell very good, but it's okay. There's bees buzzing and there's what appears to be life, right? And we talk about pride. We talk about the invalidity of feeling valid. We talk about the loathsome act of self-approval. The truly dangerous act of self-trust. And isn't it curious, that little twist, that it is in owning one's worth and in being in alignment with one's self-knowledge and its expression, that that it is this state pulls me away from God. Oh no, now what do I do? Well, dear, we're in the garden of paradox, and you're talking with your mother. She planted these flowers, and it's in her presence that they begin to smell sweet. They don't bother the nose, and they can almost snooze. No, here it's safe to talk about how it is that you love yourself. It's what it's all about. Do you think truly that if you loved every part of you and every single expression of your disdain toward yourself, your misunderstanding of yourself, your impatience with yourself, if even these were somehow seen as valid and pure? It's easier to kind of settle into the seat, and you notice that it's not metal, that it's cushioned, and the sun is suddenly not burning the skin but only warming it and caressing it somehow. How is that possible? So, pride. Yes. And we know of such a huge God, a true God, who with regularity, like on the hour, engages in self-flagellation and hatred, saying the only thing that I'm doing wrong is I'm so prideful. Oh baby, take a step back and look at yourself. You are pristine beauty. You are love itself. And hot? Oh my God. What did you make this body do and say and squeal? Come on. And you feel that being prideful of your expression is a sin? Oh, please, no. And there it goes. No longer available. Oh, such sadness, such loss. Oh, baby, come back. Come back to me. Oh, please. Just one more time, baby. Lost in the self-hatred known as Well, fear of self, nullification of self itself. We would suggest that the reason that pride is so onerous is that it does so physically, perfectly go, here's God, and it's an outlet, with the holes, and here's you, and you're together and go, hey, I kind of like myself. Hey, I like how I behave. Even when I'm goofy, I think it's pretty cool. Oh, that's wrong. To like that? Oh God, that's wrong. I don't exist really. I mean, look at what I've got to show for it, and it's ugly. Yeah. Oh, hey, mama. I want some. Hey, put some mint in my iced tea. Hey, how is it those birds are singing Mozart now? That's pretty cool. Well, I was thinking about it and then it happened. I love it when they do that. Isn't that pretty? It's a valid expression of my love for you and how beautiful I find your soul. Yes, I can do it all by myself, and if you'd like, I can do it with my body. I can just make it sing a little bit if you'd like. It's tubular. Would you like that? I sing for you. Boop, 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 boop. Where'd that come from? So, pride. Alright, so there is, of course, because we live in a world of what? Duality. Good, bad, right, wrong. Engine, push, pull. Paradox. Well, you gotta get clear. How can you be prideful of a home that is messy? Can I be at least okay in it? Just neutral. So, perhaps the antidote to pride is not full ownership of flaw and seeing imperfection as perfection within an expression that creates juxtaposition and cling-clang. Well, I don't know. I think pride is there's a way of holding oneself in pride that plays takeaway with everyone else. And perhaps this is what the people who were writing these particular meditations were trying to get at. Of have you not met someone who is so full of themselves that it is not as if they are handing out candies and fruits and steak sandwiches. Instead, they are pointing out to you how deficient you are. Well, we would suggest that is pride in you, nudging you, saying, you want to go for some jealousy? We could up the ante if you want. How about greed? Because what they have, you want. What they have, you can smell in the air. You know it's home. Let's play some takeaway. Yeah. So, is pride externalized envy and greed? Well, I don't know. We're just asking questions here, aren't we not? But pride, being in full ownership of one's expression, we would suggest, is sort of the point of the exercise. Is that pride? And is the reaction of others to this sense of ownership and validity of self, does it act as a catalyst for their consciousness of, looks like I got some miles left on my road. Shit. You know, that bitch over there, she thinks she knows everything. She's so fucking full of herself. Ugh. She thinks she knows everything. She thinks she's got it all figured out. She's so full of herself. See how it works? Is this not a hall of mirrors, dear ones? It is, and do you know why? Well, let's go back to the basics, shall we? What's true and real? What came in with you? It was not just little hands and little feet and a little head, a little torso. It wasn't just a little body. No, dear ones, it was innovated with something, wasn't it? It was created by something, wasn't it? Yes, it was. And it wasn't the little thing, the little grey jello in your brain pan. It was your heart. The big brain, the one that now has ears and can hear mama across continents, in the ocean, in the air, on the tongue. So, we would even say in the structure of the earth, as expressed and communicated by the crystal kingdom. There's gratification for having done this, and pain, sharp pain. Not, oh, I'm going to have a heart attack kind of pain. Just the kind of pain that you would imagine you would feel if there was a knife that was not quite sharp enough going into the heart, just now and then, like that. This pain used to be enough to render we, in a puddle of tears and a swirl of such deep cellular memory as was her orientation. This is what one of the things that she was here to do with many of the other old souls who were clearing the collective consciousness of these rank, foul, stupid judgments and profound misunderstandings. So consider this perhaps a bit of an excision of little pus pockets. Does it hurt? We mentioned the fillet knife. We mentioned in the video, it's a lot like sometimes talking to mama. It's a lot like, hey, I wish you'd told me about the fillet knife that you were going to use on my guts. Open, hey, where'd my skin sack go? I'm just floating around here with all these feelings. Yeah, okay. Stitch, 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 stitch. See? Don't you think when you see sins and then a thingy do and then a little message that perhaps you're going to have a little bit of a steak knife going, whoop! Hey, guess what? You want to change your reality? Well, you got to change your thoughts, baby. What happens after that? Yeah, I got to change our behavior a little bit. Can't help it. And then from there, oh, it's funny how relationships begin to change because expectations begin to change and expression begins to change, and what appears to be normal begins to what? Class? Yes, the new normal changes. So many in the New Age community have been banging the drum of there's a new normal. I believe there is a crayon thing that just says the new normal. Most of his work in 15 and much of 16 has been to say, hey dudes, there's a new way of holding your consciousness, and it is no longer dangerous to do so. You were not going to be killed, put on pyres alive. We're not going to be hanged. We're not going to be ostracized. We're not going to be isolated anymore. Because guess what? The new normal is that of love, self-approval, self-knowledge, and the deconstruction by virtue of inattention, turning away from things that are frankly quite silly. This idea that if you feel good about yourself, then that disconnects you from God. Opposite, as the profound Liz Lemon would say. Opposite. Doofus. But why would this kind of admonition go out across the land for, we would say, hundreds of years? And further, do you think that the last hundreds of years, that this is they have their judgment is state of the art? Look around you. You like what you see? You like having to be afraid of cops as you drive down the street? You like the feeling of the thumb coming down when you think about April 15th? All those things? You enjoy that? Is it fun to have someone manage you? Can't have a lot of pride, can ya? It's kind of hard to have a lot of pride when you're standing in front of the man being sentenced because of an act of sexual or emotional incontinence. Discharge of a gun in a moment of being swept away with its power, and by extension yours. Well, isn't that interesting? What we find fascinating is that true takeaway isn't discussed as one of the sins. There's no discussion of murder. There's no discussion of self-murder, suicide. None of that. And these are, we would suggest, the only true sin is that of snuffing out another's will. And what better way to annihilate self and others than to extinguish the right to live? That is a sin. Further, it is a sin to defend oneself against such nonsense by becoming murderous. We would suggest it is misunderstanding what's going on, and misunderstanding that what is before you is by agreement and request. So we leave you to think on these profound things and to enjoy your day. More may come, but tomorrow marks the anniversary, 4 weeks. And look how far, and look how happy, and look how truly proud. Standing before you, I am in great honor of myself. I have respect and ownership, but further acknowledgement of things within me which were always there, but were they real? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was made God through sound. How can I not be proud of the words that I know serve as a North Star to my heart, to what came in with me, which is golden, which created the physical pumping my blood, informing each cell of my genetic inheritance. To not be having honor and pride for this, we would suggest, is the highest form of self-nullification, of grand invalidity, which speaks of the full disacknowledgement of one's magnificence, grandeur, purpose. beauty. And ability to heal, to address and balance and make right and true that which appeared bent, and that which allowed this native I wish there was a word other than love to flow free and pure and gentle across the land and back into self and out and in and out and in and out. Big, too little, too small, too big, too little, too small. Ba 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 ba. Rocking, rocking, rocking. Maybe mama has an infant in her arms. Maybe she's letting it suckle as the butterflies flutter over the lilac hedge in this particular backyard. Perhaps this is why this particular yard is so sacrosanct. And as we enter the house, having been refreshed by Mother Nature herself, notice the windows are open. The paint which had sealed these windows long ago, now laying in flakes and long shards of misunderstanding there on the floor. All you gotta do is just push through your sloth and sweep them up and get rid of them. And the front door, well, look at that. There's one of those new doorbells on it. It doesn't sound like a Disney cartoon. It's one of those chimes, the big kind, that kind of ring through the bones of the house. Whoa, we got a guest. Oh. Let's leave the backyard in violet, but strangers now seem to just wander in because they can smell the food. And the thirsty, and they know that somewhere around here is some place they can rest and see butterflies and have buzz of the bees. Graze their cheek without fear of stinging, without fear of poison, because no one harms here. It's just food and drink and solace and recognition of a job well done. So as Mama says, as Creator says to Mama, and as one day hopefully humanity says to Creator, and Creator beams this accomplishment onto Mama's face. In unison we all say, the God which indwells me is well pleased. Namaste all. You are loved beyond measure. It's true.